is put a problem for pass, a harder problem for merit, and a very hard problem for distinction. And that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it.
Semua macam tu, tapi saya tahu.
So if we move over again to the QCF, what it's saying is exactly the same, but this time it says centres can identify and use other relevant characteristics. This is not a tick list. So the students do not have to hit that and then hit that and hit that, and we give them that. They can hit any of these once, or you can write your own. It's entirely up to you. So these words here are there to help, but for the last 10 years they haven't been helpful, because people have tried to apply this to their assignments. So if we look at this very poor assignment that Rosanna is going to tell me she doesn't believe that there are some of them achieved. It's a very poor assignment because I haven't put page numbers on.
Yes.
So it is the 4th page in that I'm looking at. M1 for the robotics. I haven't told the students to do anything new. M1 will be achieved if your decisions on the layout of the cell provides an efficient and workable solution to production requirements. You will be judged on the quality of the approach you've taken to solving this problem. The best evidence is likely to be generated for your work in 13.3.1, where you will identify the challenges that you face and decide how you will satisfy the needs of the problems that you've been given. So I've told the students where I'm going to be looking for the evidence that they've identified and applied strategies and they've found appropriate solutions. So I'm looking for a efficient and workable solution, and that they've correctly identified the problems that they've got. That's what they're going to get the grading opportunity for. So they don't have to do anything new, they don't have to do anything more. What they have to do is something complex and get it right. So I think what I'm saying to the students is, if I have to tell you that you're wrong and help you with the design, you're not going to get the merit. M2, which is, I've got to move closer because I've got to have my glasses changed. Stroke design and apply appropriate methods and techniques. M2 will be judged depending on the quality of information that you use and how that information has been applied. So I'm looking here at this indicative content. A range of sources of information has been used. So I want them to find information, and I tell them, remember, just finding information regardless of referencing means nothing. unless that information is used, be sure that you document when you make decisions and what information you've used. So for M2, I'm looking for a range of sources of information, and I'm looking for them to justify the decisions that they've made. And if that evidence is there, then they will get M2. So when I'm marking the assignment, what I will do as I'm going through their text is identify for the internal verifier that this piece of text is where I've awarded M2. Yeah? So once more, unfortunately at Excel don't tell you to do this because they leave it up to yourself. But the best centres do it this way. The assessor is trained so that they're marking through the assessment work and they say, oh yes, M2 achieved, and they write it in the margin. So that when you as the IV look at it, you can decide whether their assessment decision is right, and when the external verifier comes along, he or she can decide whether the assessment decision is right. But once more, they haven't had to do anything extra. They've just had to do it well. M3 will be judged depending on the quality of the report. M3, I've got to scroll down a little bit. Present and communicate appropriate findings. M3 is. So, what we are looking for here is that the report is fit for purpose. So they're going to be judged on the quality of the report. I've said nothing about quantity. We shouldn't be weighing reports to see whether they're fit for purpose. It's what they've written, not the amount that they've written. You've been told that this is a formal business document. It will be presented to the manufacturing manager and the finance director. Make sure that the correct format is used and the correct technical language is used. So that's what I'm looking for, is that they present the report appropriately. They have got an engineer and they've got a non-engineer to write the report for. So they have to make sure that the technical language is correct, but they don't use technical language that normal people won't understand. Or if they do, they put an appendices in the back. So if they say CAD, then they put brackets computer aided drafting. Or if they say CAD, there's an appendices in the back that says CAD equals computer aided drafting. So that if the finance director doesn't know what it is, he can look it up. So again, they haven't had to do anything new. What they've got to do is the job properly. They've got to meet that. We can't have a report that is not fit for purpose. We can't have a report that uses incorrect technical language if they want the merits. Because in the pass criterion, it doesn't say write a report. This is one of the higher level learning skills that we looked at back on Monday, which probably seems a very long time ago to you now. Because we've covered a lot of distance in the 3 days. So we may as well have a trot on to the distinctions before you start doing your work. So again, these are the QCF, but you'll find that there's no difference in reality between the QCF and the NQF. He says having a drink of cold coffee. D1. You will be required to complete a critical evaluation. Now I'm asking them to do something new. So I'm asking them to do a critical evaluation. If they don't want to write a critical evaluation, that's fine, but they're not going to get the D. If they do want to write a critical evaluation, then they might get the D. Because it says, use critical reflection to evaluate your own work and justify valid conclusions. And that's all that I'm asking them to do. Write a critical evaluation of the design that you have suggested. I'm sure that you will have learned much from designing this cell and would approach the task differently in the light of experience. Or maybe you have changed things as you went along. So remember to keep versions of your design, as these may provide the basis for your reflection. So the critical evaluation, I'm hoping, will teach them good engineering practice, because of what the teachers have been instructed to do is to inform the students to keep a logbook of what they've done over the 6-week period, because they have got to keep a logbook for the project. It's one of the criterion in the project. So again, this is the first time that these particular students will be asked to keep a logbook over a period of weeks. And we've made them one. We've stapled together a little book with 2 sections in it and a divider, and lined paper in the front part and plain paper in the back part, numbered up, page numbered up for them, so that they can write things or draw things and keep it together in a logical sort of way. So that's D1. It should be very easy for them to achieve, if they want to achieve it. D2. You've been given a task where there are a number of interdependencies between the various parts of the cell and their control system. You should show that you have recognised this and plan to manage the interactions that may happen while working in this cell. Take responsibility for managing and organising activities. And what I'm looking for is actually a number of things. The unforeseen has been accommodated. Activities have been managed. The importance of interdependence has been recognised. So we have got the thing about a flexible manufacturing cell is that it does different things. Depending on different inputs, it will give you different outputs. And that's the only reason to use a robot, is that it will get an input, and from that input it will run program A. And then you give it a different input and it will run program B. That's the only reason for using a robot. So the little man at the front puts a little cabinet in, and the holes on the bottom of the cabinet through a PLC system tell the robot which program to run.